So, our today's topic is going to be the specialized cells and stem cells, and we will also see that what are the roles of the specialized cells and the stem cells in our life and how they are important for us. So, every cell in our body, right, that has got a nucleus inside it, and every cell has got thousands of genes in it, right? So, those genes basically contain all the information for the development of all the body parts, right? Let's say if we have a skin cell, right, epithelial cell, right, and that epithelial cell has got a nucleus inside it, and that nucleus has got 46 chromosomes, total 46 chromosomes. As we have talked about the number of chromosomes in the previous lessons as well, that every cell of our body has got 46 chromosomes, and those chromosomes are present in the form of pairs, and there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, right, in a diploid cell. And so we can say that every cell of our body looks same. They have got the same genes, but there are some cells that develop into skin. There are some cells that develop into nervous tissues. There are some cells that develop into muscle fibers. There are some cells that develop into, you can say, the epithelial cells, and they are of the different types, right? So why is it so? It's because there are some genes, although every cell of our body has got the complete set of genes, because they are diploid cells and they have got the ability to develop into a new individual, like our zygote did the same thing. The zygote was produced as a result of, that was the first diploid cell, and zygote was produced as a result of uh, fertilization of the two cells, that is an egg cell and a sperm cell, right? When the two haploid nuclei with 23 chromosomes combined together, they have produced a cell with 46 chromosomes. And then that cell was called as zygote. And the zygote, when started mitosis, means they have started producing new cells, and those new cells are produced as a result of mitosis. So all of them are going to be identical. Identical means that, for example, this is a zygote, right? And this zygote has started doing mitosis. It first develops or makes two diploid cells with 46 chromosomes. And before mitosis in the zygote, first the number of chromosome gets doubled, right? And then they will divide into two cells, and then each cell again divides into four cells, then eight cells, then 16 cells. So it means that these cells in the zygote has got the ability to divide, and such cells who have got the ability to divide and then what will happen, it will make a ball of cells. If you remember in the reproductive system, or you can say the development of an egg into an embryo, when we have talked about the embryo that was produced as a result of repeated mitosis, right? And it has produced many cells in or you can say a ball of cell that is called as an embryo, right? So this embryo has got many cells, and they all are produced by mitosis. And then what will happen in this embryo, some cells will develop into skins of the baby, some will develop into heart, some will develop blood vessels, some will develop brain, some will develop other cells, proteins, and so on. So it means that these cells had the ability to divide, and these cells had the ability to specialize, or you can say there will be expression of some genes in some cells will make particularly a specialized kind of cell, right? So this is just because of the expression of the genes, right? So there are two abilities that I'm talking about here. One, the ability of division. Number two, the ability of specialization. Such cells who have got the ability to divide, they are called as stem cells. And then those stem cells, all cells that are present in the embryo, they are called as stem cells, right? This zygote is also a stem cell. Why? Because stem cells always have got the ability to replicate themselves, or you can say they have got the ability to multiply, right, by division, and then they have got the ability to differentiate into specialized kind of cell. Because every cell, skin cell, has got its own gene expression. They will be expressing the keratin gene, they'll be expressing the collagen protein, right? In our hair there will be a gene that is making up the pigment in our hair. In eyes there will be a gene for the eye color pigment that is being expressed to make particular color of our eyes, right? Some genes in these cells will, you can say, express certain genes to develop certain proteins in the cells membrane. So we can say that there are different you can say destinations of every cell, and that is just controlled by the expression of the gene. So when the information is carried by the genes is used to synthesize a protein, we can say that the gene is being expressed, right? So in this embryo, how some cells make skin, how some cells make muscles, how some cells make cardiac muscles, some cells make brain, some cells make stomach, right? So this is just because of the expression of the gene. So all the cells of our body, whether it's from stomach, whether it's from pancreas, or whether it's from any part of our body, they all have got the ability to express certain genes, and there are some genes that are not expressed, and they are called as the genes that are switched off. There are some genes in this embryo that will be switched on, and there are some genes that will be switched off. So those genes which are switched on, they are going to express themselves, and they are going to make specialized cells. Then each specialized cell expresses only those genes that it needs in order to carry out its specific functions, right? I've just given you some of the examples of these stem cells, right? Some cells, however, are not specialized. For example, zygote, it is not specialized cell. Embryo cells, embryonic stem cells, they are not specialized. But yes, they have got the ability to divide repeatedly so that they can make many cells, like in an embryo I just told you. So all these cells, when are not specialized into any kind of specific cell, they will be called as stem cells. And when these stem cells have started, you can say, after division, they have started specializing into specific kind of cell, they will be called as, you can say, specialized cells, right? So specialized cells have got a specialized structure, and they, for example, if you have seen a nerve cell has got somewhat structure like this, that they have got a cell body and they have got an elongated fiber like structure that is connected to the other cells so that it can conduct electrical impulses from one part of the body to the other part. Yeah, on the other hand, if you see a muscle cell, a muscle fiber is made like this. So they are cells, but they are specialized cells to perform a specialized function. That's why they have got a specialized structure. And all these structures that are present in a neuron and in a muscle fiber, right? In a muscle fiber, they are all, you can say, adapted to perform a specific function because they have got certain features in them to develop into a certain particular feature that makes it different from the other cells. Now they are no more stem cells, they are particularly specialized cells. And these specialized cells again will develop into a specialized cells because of the expression of the genes. And the expression of the genes, as we have talked about in this topic, protein synthesis, in our previous lesson, that gene expression is done from this story begins from the nucleus. In nucleus, the DNA's information, that is the gene that is being expressed in the form of mRNA, and then this mRNA comes out from the nucleus through nuclear pores in the cytoplasm, and then in cytoplasm it attaches itself to the rough endoplasmic reticulum ribosomes, and then these ribosomes will read the mRNA code that come out from the nucleus, from the genes, because the DNA cannot come out of the nucleus. So that's why the mRNA will be used by these ribosomes to convert that information into a polypeptide chain. And here you can see these are the free amino acids, and this is the growing polypeptide chain that makes up a protein, right? So this is what do we mean by gene expression, right? And gene expresses always in the form of a protein, and then it develops into a nerve cell, and then that protein helps to make the neurons, helps to make the muscle fibers, or the different, for example, in our eye pigment is made up of a particular type of protein. So this is what we can call as gene expression. And gene expression is basically the process through which a cell becomes a specialized cell. So the stem cells have got the ability, they are unspecialized, they're always present in the bone marrow in humans' body. In other organisms, they can be more than one uh, uh, place where they have the stem cells. So the stem cells are unspecialized cells like zygote, like embryo, and they have got the ability to divide repeatedly to make new cells. If we talk about our body, right, our body bone marrow has got stem cells. For example, this bone marrow has got the ability to develop particular types of cells, not all the types of cells, but definitely few types of cells like red blood cells, platelets, phagocytes, lymphocytes, and these are the few types of cells that can be made by the bone marrow. So it means that bone marrow in our body that runs in the vertebral column bones, right? That is present inside the bones, and that fluid or that liquid actually has got certain stem cells, and they have got the ability to divide, number one, and they also differentiate into specialized cells by the expression of different genes, right? And they can make new cells. The stem cells in the brain can divide to produce new neurons, right? This is the new research that is going on these stem cells as well to develop new neuron cells, right? And there are many researches going on to treat many neurological disorders so that we can get to know that how we can develop nerves for those patients who get their nerves damaged. The range of stem cells that are present in an adult human has only recently been discovered by scientists, and we are still learning a lot about them. Right, so this is a very vast and a very important field where we want more researchers and more discoveries so that we can make this process successful. A better understanding of stem cells could lead to new treatments of medical problems that we currently cannot solve. For example, stem cells could be used to produce new heart muscles, new pancreatic cells, new nerve cells. So this will become so easy for us to treat all those diseases, like heart failure, right? If some patient has got weak heart, if we make new heart and we implant that heart into the patient's body by using the stem cells of the patient's body, right, we will this will be a big achievement, big revolution in the field of medicine. Could Now there are certain questions that we need to ask ourselves, that whether we can make heart muscles or not, whether we can produce new nerve cells or not, or whether they can be implanted or transplanted into the spinal cord of a person who has got some nerves damaged in the spinal cord, right? Science is moving very quickly in these fields, and there are so many projects going on worldwidely to do more researches and to have more findings and more information to develop stem cells to make heart, to make nerve cells, right? So this is one of the example that is shown by the help of this diagram, that the blood stem cells, they are general cell, they are not specialized cell. Specialized cells are these. Why? Because they have got certain adaptive feature, and they have got certain adaptive function to be performed. So these cells are mainly present in the bone marrow, right? and in bone marrow, they are continuously undergoing mitosis, right? Mitosis is a kind of cell division in which the cells, when divide, they divide into two, number one, and they always produce genetically identical cells, right? With the same number of chromosomes. For example, if we talk about humans, there are 46 chromosomes present in the stem cell, and when they will replicate and they will make its copies, they will produce the, you can say, we can say that they can produce identical cells with the same number of chromosomes, right? And then now comes the specialization part, that there will be some genes that will be switched on, there will be some genes that will be switched off, right? And then they will develop certain specific specialized cells like lymphocytes. They are the white blood cells that produce antibodies. Phagocytes, they have got lobed nucleus and granular cytoplasm. And then there are platelets. They can help us in clotting. There are red blood cells who have got no nucleus in them. When they get specialized to perform a specific function to carry oxygen from one part of the body to the other part, so we can say they develop hemoglobin protein in them. So these are some of the specialized features that you can see that will develop in stem cells to become specialized cells, right? Stem cells are unspecialized always, and we can say that the specialized cells have got some genes switched on, some genes switched off. Now I'm going to show you another example here, and that you can see that zygote, how we are produced, how the stem cells in zygote and in embryo and in our body help us to make new cells, right? Or you can say how those cells get specialized to make different organs and systems of our body. So this is a zygote that is developed by fertilization of an egg and a sperm. And then it has produced a first diploid cell, that is zygote, and then it has started undergoing mitosis, and it has started producing all identical cells, and these identical cells will make an embryo. This is also called as blastocyst. There is no need to memorize this term at your level, but yes, this is a blastocyst, right? And that you can simply call it embryo. And then this embryo develops placenta, develops, then gets specialized to make heart, cardiac muscles, brain, digestive system, and all these structures will develop in a baby's body. So these are now specialized cells, and these are unspecialized cells. So that's embryo cells are unspecialized cells. So that's why they are called as, you can say, stem cells, right? So this is the difference between stem cells and specialized cells. I hope that's clear to you that what do we mean by stem cells and specialized cells. So that's it for
Yes,
today.